It was good, man. It's your boy Ishmael Polygraph 513 Boxing. Yeah, I ain't know how I give it up. All right, so Pete, I want to cook a little bit on boxing. I'm out here at the beach, looking at the water, and the stars, and just been thinking, watching fights, man, on the beach. And one of the things that I was reminded of is over on Zone Six channel. If you're not subscribed to Zone Six, go check him out. He hosts debates. He's a very knowledgeable boxing fan. Always call it how he see it, straight down the middle. So I appreciate his point of view. Even if I disagree with him sometimes, I appreciate his ability to articulate his position and to defend it with logic. I always appreciate somebody like that. So I want to support that channel. But while I was over there watching, and participating in and watching this channel, one of the things that me and him kind of discussed, like, was I wanted to get into a debate, and one of the debates that kind of came up was George Foreman versus Evander Holyfield, and who do I have ranked higher all time? So and I want to cook on that, and I've been thinking about that. I've been actually putting a couple weeks. It's been about 3 weeks since this been brought up on my mind, and I took some time to kind of process, do some research, think about it, because like, if I'm going to defend my position, I need to, like, make sure I really believe this, because I'm not the kind of person that if I do the research and I come back, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna defend it just because I said it one time. A lot of people get caught up trying to defend a statement that they said one time. Then when they get new information, they're too afraid to go and actually change their position and change their opinion, because they think it makes them look like they lack intelligence, when in reality it's the opposite. So I'm not the kind of person who will look up something and be like, oh damn, like, that ain't true, or try to find some excuse. I would change. And I've been looking up, and I believe even stronger now than I did when I first made the statement that I got George Foreman above Evander Holyfield. So head to head, when it comes to their resumes, let's consider their boxing resume. Both of them were a two-time lineal champion, a heavyweight champion. I think Evander got it a third time as well, just one of the titles, but it wasn't unified, and it wasn't the lineal championship, and it wasn't undisputed. Uh, so we can consider that how much you want to consider that. It counts. But then when you consider um, probably Evander Holyfield's greatest fights, the fights that he's known for, most of them he lost. He lost that series with Riddick Bowe. He lost that series with Lennox Lewis. He beat Mike Tyson in back-to-back fights, but not taking nothing away from Evander Holyfield, because a lesser fighter would have lost. But in reality, that wasn't the Mike Tyson that was out of prison. Now, Mike Tyson came out himself and said he still believes that Evander Holyfield would have beat him, but that's just because I believe when Mike Tyson came out and said that, he had kind of been broken from the fighter spirit to a degree, and he had to kind of rebuild himself. Kind of coming up, he had gone through some difficult times financially and stuff like that when he made those comments. But a man say what a man say. I'm not going to try to take away and try to justify or to discredit what he say it was. So we'll take that at face value. But I have my own opinion on it. Um, but then you look at now, you could say Foreman's, what we know Foreman for the most could be the Ali fight, for losing to Ali and Kinshasa Zaire. But in reality, that Michael Moore win might have been an even greater accomplishment. So now this is what you. So now let's get into break it down a little bit further. So then you talk about your boy Evander Holyfield. He was champion, but it was over, and it was in different decades. But now consider that after George Foreman had lost to Ali, he came back and fought. I think he fought Jimmy Young and somebody else. I think he beat them both. It was some barn burners, but good fights. Then he took a break. He took a break to go and to work with the youth. So when he had beat Joe Frazier to win the heavyweight championship of the world, he had said in the post game interview That one of the most important things to him was to show to the young kids of the world that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. So this has been a part of who he is, and this is also a part of resume, is the fact that George Foreman has sacrificed of his own life, of his own legacy, similar to what Ali did. Now Ali's was, you could say, for a bigger cause, more righteous cause. I don't know who can make that kind of claim, but I can understand. Well, maybe somebody say he's fighting a fight that was much bigger, but so was George Foreman. George Foreman left to go for 10 years to go and dedicate his life, his fame, and rehabilitate himself amongst the community, with the community, walk with the people. George Foreman was a man of the people. And that fight with Ali, one of the big issues, and one of the reasons that I believe that Foreman struggled was because Foreman considered himself, a black man, straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? And a man's man. And Ali, well, not Ali, but media, and well, Ali a little bit too, but the media and locals there in Zaire almost painted him like he was the representative of America. You know what I mean? And I think that we bought into that as well as fans. Go back and look at who George Foreman is and how he moves. Like the kind of stuff that people say they like, that man down stuff, knockouts, brawls, blood and guts. Now, he was a good, smart boxer, high-level boxer. He was Olympic gold medalist as well. So was Evander Holyfield. But, that tell you how good George Foreman was. But he gets painted as this big monster, high-class slugger, brawler guy, when in reality, him and Ali was pretty much the same size. They was just different skill sets. You know what I mean? And your aura and your energy play a role as well. George, they called him Big George. His energy was big. Ali had big energy as well, but Ali had a different he had this cosmopolitan energy in which it felt like he was big. He wasn't big, he was universal. You know what I'm saying? He was big, but it was kind of a different quality to the size. George Foreman felt like a large, massive human. Ali was a large, massive person, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And so it was just difference there. But and so I think in a debate, somebody would try to use that Ali fight and those kind of stereotypes that comes against George Foreman. But in reality, look at Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield, I believe, is a highly skilled boxer, but he was known for brawls and blood and guts, getting beat up, knocked down, damn near stopped, wobbling all over the place, but coming back with heart. You know what I'm saying? So now think about the heart it take to take the biggest defeat on the biggest stage that there may have ever been. This is Muhammad Ali, who at the time was already a legend. When he got to Africa, Muhammad Ali was celebrated as a hero already because of what he had did, you know what I'm saying, with his stance on the war and being against America's position. He was already bigger than life. So then you get down there, you get down to Zaire, you know what I'm saying, you get down to Africa, and and it did a number on him mentally. That fight should be one of the reasons that's one of the great fights of all time is the mental warfare and the attrition and the spiritual battle that was. The delay of the fight, both guys had to overcome that. The travel, being in a foreign land, it just so happened. It was a lot going on there. It's layers and layers. When We Were Kings is a great documentary on that, but it's just an awesome, beautiful, display of violence, of organized legal violence. I'm saying, and the role that goes into that, or the mind frame, the spiritual disposition it takes to go into that space. You feel me? So, there. But I believe that it's more impressive to become champion, defend it, fight the greatest fighter of all time. Now, Lennox Lewis is in my top 5. You know what I'm saying? But losing to Lennox Lewis, but he lost to Riddick Bowe too. Now George Foreman did lose to. I think Jimmy Young did beat him. I'm going all this off the top of the head. But I think Jimmy Young, it was one of those guys. I think he beat Ken Norton. He beat Ken Norton to get to Ali. After he lost to Ali, he fought some other people. But like George Foreman lost another fight in there as well to one of those guys in the 70s, 80s time frame. Before he take it, I think either before or right after he took his break. But either way, my bad, Lord, I heard something. So he ends up taking the time off to do all the stuff that I just laid out, and then comes back to the sport at 40. Not the same guy physically. So also part of what you got to show to be a great champion is when you decline physically, are you still able to win? Nobody showed that some have, but just for, I don't think Evander showed it to the level that George Foreman showed it. George Foreman had the most difficult loss to recover from, rehabilitated himself by sacrificing the thing that he loves to do and reinvesting himself in the community the same way Ali did. Ali got forced to take a 3-year period, and Ali wouldn't have took a break at all. You know what I'm saying? But Foreman went and was on boots on the ground with the youth, with the young black youth, putting out a message that you can be better than what your surroundings are. That you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a champion. Champions have messages. That's why, in my opinion, none of these, current fighters, it's hard to call them all-time greats. It's hard to call them greats. I mean, they champions by name or by title, but not necessarily in how they carry themselves and the expectation, the honor, the standard that comes with being a champion. They don't hold it up as much as guys in the past have. But so Evander was a great fighter. But it's just a preliminary touchdown on a debate and where my head is at with it. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I'm not gonna lay out all my little points and things that I would talk about. But I'm curious what you guys think. Where you got it? I got Big George all time over Evander Holyfield. My top 5 all-time changes slightly dependent on the day, but the core is the core. I got Ali number 1, Joe Louis number 2, Lennox number 3. Then I got Lennox number 3. Then I got Foreman, and then I got that would be between Holyfield and Marciano. It's some other guys in there. Like some of those, Jack Johnson is a great fighter. Like, I would probably consider putting Jack Johnson in there. But at the same time, like, man, these guys, it was so hard to determine who was the best and who of all time back then because guys weren't fighting each other. It was accepted ducking. He was being ducked, and he did a little ducking himself, so it's just hard to say back then. You had the color, and like, again, Zone 6 broke this down. Go check out his video. But you got the colored heavyweight championship, the black heavyweight championship, the world heavyweight championship, the British heavyweight championship. All this stuff is happening at the same time. Now, some of them got consolidated. Now, Jack Johnson, I think, was the first guy to consolidate the championships. So that carries a lot of weight. But he also did lose a lot of fights to a lot of guys. So, even though he accomplished great things, his highs were higher than a lot of guys, but he had some lows, it looks like, in there as well. So, but that's just on the first basis, man. Let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy.